issues at all. I mean, we've had farmers and herders live together for hundreds of years. There's never been issue of, oh, this is my land, these are grazing roads, these are grazing reserves, these lands are my ancestral lands. No, if you claim that they're your ancestral lands, how do I feed my cattle? It's just been a whole lot of problem. Oh, I went through the whole stress, I got loans in the bank, I bought grains, and I planted them. Then your cows came in and ate and destroyed them. Oh, attack this and that. For us to make progress in this country, we just have to do things differently. My guest yesterday on the show, Alhaji Abdulmumin Abiola, the son of the late Moshood Kashim Awolawa Abiola and the late Alhaji Kudirat Abiola, talked about the fact that one of the issues we have in this country is that we've over time consistently done the same things the same way and we expect a different result. It's basic knowledge. You have to find different ways of doing things. There's been so many presidential committee to look into the issue of the herders and farmers clashes, even in states where they've been so affected, state like Plateau, state like Benue, a state like Nasarawa, state like Zamfara, and these are states that are supposed to be the food source of the country. In fact, Benue, that is supposed to be the food basket of the nation, is being under heavy siege. Farmers cannot go to farms in this same country. There are local governments where farmers have to pay tax to bandits before they can access their own farms. It's a lot of problem, and maybe my guest today would help us understand the significance of this particular committee when the rage in the Niger Delta was so strong. And then the Ministry of Niger Delta was created. Under it, we have the NDDC. We have a lot of agencies taking care of the people in that region. Reaching out to their needs, and it brought some relative peace and sanity within that region, especially along the agitations of marginalization and how do I put it now, degradation of their communities, their farms, their waters. The Ministry of Niger Delta, started coming out with programs that will create alternative ways of survival for the people of that region. If you've been to Bayelsa, then you understand what it means when you can literally. I remember there was a time I went to Port Harcourt. I went to Bayelsa, and the water that we drank in Bayelsa had address of Port Harcourt on it. So I asked my host, and I was like, and she said, hey, you know what? There are barely places in Bayelsa that you can dig borehole. That is how much the people of that region needs the attention of the government. That means they have to bring in water from Port Harcourt. So when the Niger Delta Ministry came up, it brought some level of sanity into it. There were programs, there were agencies, departments that were set up specifically to take care of the needs of communities that have been affected. People that their natural profession is farming, but they cannot farm anymore. The government is also doing their own, even though there's still so much more that could still be done in that region. But you can't deny the fact that alongside the amnesty program that was introduced by the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, the creation of the Ministry of Niger Delta was also a very significant one in terms of bringing sanity into could be the biggest move to solving the issue of herders and farmers clashes that would have or that we've been dealing with in this country. And that's a fact. This program is the Situation Room. Today on the show, we look at the decision of the federal government to suspend tax and waive import duties on some food items and some grains. And well, it's tough. A friend of mine made a post on one of the social media platforms yesterday, and he said, he just woke up and he had cravings. He wanted to eat yam and fish sauce, and then when he got to the market, the cheapest tuber of yam he could get was 6,000 naira. And then before he could get this and get that, he just told himself that, hey, why would he use 13,000 naira to get breakfast? And he said to just walk away from that. We are in a serious food crisis in this country. We can't deny that fact. And if you've been blessed enough to travel around some states in this country, you understand that in terms of landmass, we're so extremely blessed that we don't have any reason whatsoever to be having food crisis in this country. Why should people be buying 2 bags of yam for 8,000, 10,000 that can barely even feed a family in a country where we have hundreds of thousands of hectares untouched, unused, unguarded? mean, it's a whole lot of problem. And a lot of the reasons where people have put up is that the president needs to relax, let food come in, let's waive the import duty, let's do this. Well, Mr. ዄ is an economist, he's a banker, he's a public affairs or public policy analyst, and he joins me on the show today to quickly look at the significance of this particular decision of the government, to suspend tax and, waive import duties, and also the decision of the federal government to partner states in farming. Mr. Oscar, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening and thank you for having me, friend.
Okay. See, I must admit that is a tough time right now for us in this country in terms of putting body and soul together. People would always tell you that one of the easiest things you can deal with is take hunger out of the conversation. Let people. It's not even about 3 square meal. It's not even about balanced diet. People just want to eat. Mr. Oscar, the president decided to announce a duty-free imports on rice, beans, wheat, and other grains, and also suspended the tax on them. How significant is this announcement by the presidency in an attempt to end the food crisis that we are dealing with right now?
Thank you very much, OPEYEMI. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to our listeners. I think it's a very important decision, not the one that the state or the country would want to embark upon right now, given the severity of other policy issues that we have. But this is like an emergency problem that the federal government have to critically look into. I don't know if you remember that on this program, sometimes last time where you brought me on this program, I emphasized that the idea that a certain son in this country had to impose price reduction or price regulation on the price of items, especially food items and condiments. I told you that that policy or that court adjudication, despite the several benefits that will come out of it, will not stand to see the light of day. I told you on this program that it will not work. So for federal government, I think federal government have taken, especially for the federal government that is driven by revenue generation and maximization of revenue and income and all this, have taken an emergency decision to start to stabilize price of goods that is different from what we had. Now, if you straight to your question, if you look at what we had before, right? Federal government have tried to intervene in the issue of food and production of food and maximizing the opportunities that we have in this area. They bought I think 58,500 metric of rice was first purchased from the Rice Producer Association of Nigeria. Another 30,000 metric tons were also purchased. About 42,000 essential food was also purchased from the National Strategic Food Reserve. All these were distributed among the states in order to cushion for the effect of hardship that is brought about by the scarcity or unavailability of food items in Nigeria. All these have failed. All these have not solved the problem. So if the federal government must, nip this in the bud quickly, they have to take strategic measures to ensure that this is done. And that's the reason why you see that this suspension that you are seeing, suspension of tariff, duties, taxes, and other, collectibles have been made on the food items. It's not easy for federal government. It's already the one that is driven by revenue. That's what people have been doing, trying to drive revenue.
Because those duties is where the government gets money.
Yes, if they don't collect tax, they don't collect duties, there won't be revenue, especially on food commodities. These are probably the area after 4 where you can get, income and revenue into this country. But now we are denying federal government that opportunity. But it has to be done. They failed in terms of policy. So this is like the last resort that we are taking now. So I hope that it works. I hope and I pray that it works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oscar. Now, let me ask you, one of the issues that people have talked about is the fact that we don't have like a price regulatory agency. I had this conversation with some friends a couple of months back, and I said it's going to be very difficult for the government to regulate price of commodities in the market, especially commodities that the government is not subsidizing. It's simple. I'm investing my money to bring in these commodities. I pay all of the taxes I need to pay. The whole challenge of logistics, covering transportation, getting all of these things done, storage. So the government cannot tell me how much I'm going to sell these commodities. But with the waiver of these export duties and these issues, would it be easy for the government to regulate the price of commodities in the market? Because somebody will tell you that, oh, a bag of rice in Jigawa is different from a bag of rice in Ebonyi. A bag of beans in Kano is different from a bag of beans in Ibadan. Would this, these waivers, would it be possible or easy for the government to at least bring some regulation to the price of commodities in the market so that to achieve uniformity?
Thank you very much for that question. I know I also remember that you asked me this question the last time we spoke, and we discussed this, that federal government does not have mouth or matter in hands in the business where they are not a stakeholder or a partner. So I think that answered the question. Also, you asked what can be done. Well, in terms of pricing, government can look at how to now encourage stakeholders and private sector players to ensure that they deal directly on both production and importation of goods or food items. So that's what the government can do. In terms of price regulation, they don't have really a lot of things to do, but they can also encourage stakeholders to set guarantee minimum pricing system. There's something we call the GMP pricing system. So if they can ensure that guarantee in place, then whatever that they are mopping up for as excesses of food commodity from circulation, and in terms of what they are growing in terms of production and productivity, they will be able to regulate, because now government is now fully involved. This is what we discussed, you and I, that government needs to come in as a major player in this sector. We discussed that, we predicted that this will happen. I don't know if you remember that we predicted that this will happen. If government is not really investing in the sector, government cannot control the pricing in the sector. People have duties, they have tariff that were being cleared on all these things. So they have to be able to infuse that into their pricing system. Logistics is there, transportation and all of that things that that people who sell all these things, have to bear. And they don't bear the prices on their own. They have to push it back to the consumer.
True.
So this GMP system would now assist government, to be able to set the standard pricing for all the things that are coming in. Remember, I said it's a guarantee minimum pricing techniques. You understand? So it will help us, mop up not only food, excess food and commodity to restock where they have already taken food from, but it will help us largely in building a new food chain. Because what we need right now is not just rice, maize, and seedlings like people have it. We have so many other things in mechanized sector that has to be looked into to expand production and ensure productivity. If we don't start looking at these areas, we would just be playing together. We will not be solving the main problem. The main problem right now is that we are not growing enough, maybe due to insecurity and other things, but we have to be able to grow enough. We have to be able to ensure that productivity is ensured, security is ensured, farmers can go to farm and come back and harvest whatever they are producing. And we have to also encourage farmers to start looking at how they can begin to get a profit system where when the farming system is not in season, they can be encouraged to wait and grow more. Because farmers also want to make more profit. They don't want to wait for another 5 months before they can eat or feed their family. So that has to come up. Ministry of Agriculture has to find a solution to ensure that farmers are also, capture the net of the production line, so everybody will be encouraged. But to your question, one thing I think federal government can do, apart from encouraging aggressive agricultural mechanization, probably for development purposes, is also to seriously do a PPP, public-private partnership, where they encourage stakeholders, to ensure that the minimum pricing of all the food and other food items or condiments that are being reduced into the market. So that's what help.
Okay. Now, we're a consuming country. We can't deny that fact. And the bulk of what we consume, we don't even produce them here. we'd always bring them from other countries, as cheap as pencil, as cheap as toothpick. We import all of these things. Now that the government had kind of relaxed, his borders.
I can't hear you again.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Okay, we're trying to reconnect with my guest, Mr. Olayinka Oscar, and we're looking at the decision of the federal government to, remove import duties on certain food items and other grains in order to, find a way to balance or pump in some supplies in the market. Mr. Oscar, you're back with us.
Thank you very much. I'm back.
Thank you. I think the network was trying to play a fast one on us, but we're back. Now, I was saying that we're in a country where we barely produce so much. I don't want to say anything. The bulk of the things that we use, even for our daily, existence, things as cheap, as ordinary as toothpick, cotton buds, pencil, we literally import some of those things. And whether we like it or not, the fact that we've not been able to meet up with our food consumption demand is why people keep asking, open the borders, let food come in. Now that the government has decided to relax some of these duties and bring in these grains and food items, how can we now focus inward? First, like you talked about, the farmers being included in the production chains, how much more do we need to do to make sure that now that foods are coming from outside, let us also develop what we have inside? How much more do we think we need to do in that regard?
Great question, OPEYEMI. Very, very good question. We spoke earlier about federal government through the Ministry of Agriculture looking into the aggressive driven agricultural mechanization system. That will help us develop our local content. It will also reduce drudgery and drive the cost of production down and boost productivity. I don't know if you get the point I'm making. If federal government through the Ministry of Agriculture focus on aggressive mechanization process for production, productivity will increase, because we have so many things we are supposed to be looking at. The artificial farming system is there. What do you call this chemical system that they have right now, where you can use chemicals, where you can use solutions to develop some specific agricultural output. Those are advantages that we have in this sector that we can quickly employ as a quick win. But something else we can do is to focus on drudgery. Provide fertilizers, at a very, very cheap rate for our farmers. They are not selling this fertilizer, because what obtains right now is that when you sell fertilizers to farmers at a very cheap rate, instead of them to go to the farm and
most of them always go and resell the fertilizers.
Thank you very much. That's the point I'm trying to make. They go back to sell and reintroduce that to suppliers where this thing comes from, and they sell it back to them at very, very high price. So these are the things that we are talking about. These are peacefully, I call them self-induced inflation. Food inflation as we speak today is at 40%, 40.6%.
That's the highest we've had in about 22 years.
Exactly, exactly.
Crazy
so
numbers.
What government need to do is to focus on serious, mechanized agricultural system, and that will help them drive down the cost of production and boost productivity. That's like a quick way for us. Do you understand? It's a quick way for us. I'm not really open to this system. To this policy, if you ask me,
I know. I know.
The amount of money that we have spent on this program and how much the CBN has lost to this policy, is alarming. If I start reading out figures to you, you'll be scared for us. We have discussed that before. So let us go back to our Borrowers program. We are here as a country. We are here. I think part of what the government will start doing is to start telling people exactly what happened. Unless if it doesn't do that, people will start thinking it's the one that is inducing further hardship and impoverishing Nigerians. But this has been like a major issue even before the Tinubu administration. But now he's here. He has to inherit both the assets and liability. So what he has to do immediately, I think, is what he's doing now. Open up the border, let the food come in. But another problem is outside the limits of this border opening, both the sea and land border opening. What if the time frame lapses and the production chain and line go back to status quo? What I mean is that what if they turn back to this normal pricing system? That means it's just a soft landing. We are just only saving Nigeria for the short term, and the production line will still go back up. Inflation will return back to the market. So there has to be, like you said, a local content building mechanism. So we create like a challenge or a competition system between the local content and the foreign. That's the idea of the what do you call it, the Matama project that was done together with the Alpha Plus project that was done, together with other green programs that were done during the Buhari administration. But all this money were stolen. Assuming they were being expended and implemented the right way, we won't be talking about having to drive up the cost of production or making life unavailable for Nigeria or having food unavailable for Nigeria to buy. Even when they don't have the money to buy and they can raise one or two, they can't even buy because you know how much the tomato is being sold in the market as a today. You know how much rice is being sold as a today. So all these things, are the things that Nigerians are faced with. But remove duties, remove tariff and tax. At least I'm sure that Nigerians are starting different. I didn't expect any big difference, but at least however small the difference, it's something that we can manage for the meantime while we look at how we can properly transform the agricultural sector. And this cannot be done by government. Government has to start seeing private sector as a major player in the market and ensuring that they are using the PPP, public-private partnership policy exchange system. If that is not done, like we have always come here to tell Nigerians the truth, this will not work. I will still come back here and tell Nigerians where exactly and how exactly they have gone on.
I'm always very careful, when I have you join us, because there's something that comes with your optimism, and then on the flip of it, we're just being pessimistic about these things. Mr. Oscar, I'm sure that the old people are the presidents or the political elite, so the pressure is mounting. But with this waiver now, what next do you think the president needs to do to back up this particular policy? First off, in terms of making policy culture, we make these policies, the government had waived this, import.
Whether we are importing everything that we do, we come back to production. And if people are not going to farm, part of the reason why we have this problem at this magnitude is because of the small what they can get from government and private and bringing in the private sector. In terms of drive out, farm the military, the paramilitaries, whatever means or however the food production.
Okay.
A way to ensure whether bonds or guarantees that will tell them that even after the season, we are out of season,
you can still
line and the margin line continue to do. Continue to ensure productivity in terms of food availability.
Thank you very much.
If farmers are not going to farm and are not protected on farms, they will not do this. This food will not be available. So what government needs to do is that not just only the funding, not just only the materials that are needed to farm, not all just only the encouraging them with word of mouth. They have to secure them. They have to secure their family, secure their livestock, secure their farm produce. If government can do all these things together and ensure that yes, this target that's open for duty free for importation window has to be for a limited time. While we are trying to build productivity in local content segment, we have to ensure that the timeline that we are opening our borders, is such that wherever we have productivity locally, we can partially return duties and tariffs back to this production line. If we can do this, then we must have stem out all issues of competition between, imported goods or imported goods and fabricated goods. So these are the things that government to do. It's two ways. There's policy side, there's the program side, and there is the legal and regulation side, which involves how long this order is open for and what are the objectives that I've said in order to ensure that yes, food availability is some part of the market. How are we encouraging our local farmers to come back to farms? How are we encouraging almost everybody to go back to farms? But that's what we need to do. Unless and if, and this is a big if, quote and unquote, with emphasis on if all these things are not done, okay, we are only playing to the gallery.
Okay, and I don't want us to play to the gallery, and I hope our listeners understand. Mr. Olayinka Oscar is actually on transit, so I had to just beg him, as
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm just trying to explain to the people why the network may not be stable. That you're on transit, and then you have to just park in one place for us to have this conversation. You made mention of some of the things that the government needs to do. Oh, let me try and reconnect with my guests. We'll have to finish this conversation. Anyhow you want it, we'll have to finish this conversation. I've been speaking with Mr. Olayinka Oscar. He's an investment banker, he's a public affairs analyst, and then he's helping us understand the significance of the decision of the president to waive import duties on some of these items. Mr. Oscar, good to have you back.
Yes, thank you. I don't know where left off.
Okay, I'm just going to bring you into the conversation again. You were talking about what the government needs to do in terms of sustaining, this policy, alongside also encouraging, our farmers to also meet up with our demands. Just today, the president announced the creation of the Ministry of Livestock Development. And that there's also former chairman of INEC. Now, we all know how the Ministry of Niger Delta, when it was created alongside the introduction of amnesty, brought some stability within the Niger Delta region. It was a region that it brought peace and development. Now, herders and farmers clashes, which is one of the things that stop farmers from going to that we have. Secondly, taking us back to the era of having surplus in terms of food production.
He was just explaining that. I don't know if you heard when I said that the part of the problem that we have for food production in Nigeria. So insecurity, whether when they leave their family behind to go to the farm, they are being kidnapped at home, or when they are on the farm, they are being killed while farming and doing other things that they do, right? So that has in that them to be able to provide adequate production has led to low productivity. Now, in terms of the newly created committee, it is simple. They are trying to drive policy. They are trying to drive achievement in terms of policies in that livestock, specifically for livestock. They have mentioned the ranching and all those things. That's a very important sector of the government of agriculture. Government need to secure the life and property of farmers. And by bringing up this committee, it will ensure that they don't just boost productivity. It will lead to development. It will avoid drudgery, vandalization, kidnap for ransom, and all other things that are imminent to that segment of production. See, all these things have always been done in this country. The problem is, why is government reactionary? We are supposed to have a proactive government. People like us should be called into this government to tell them policies that would help salvage future occurrences. Government wait for things to happen before they take action. It's reactionary. Government need to sit down and look at the all programs that they have set out. Like they have what they call the read up agenda. Find policies on paper. But do you emphasize or have you taken time to research properly what are the hindrances to have that you have towards the implementation or proper implementation of this policy frameworks? They don't have it. It is very lacking. And it's just about having the right data and having the right policies and planning. If government lack all these things, there won't be development. End of the day, what you are trying to drive with setting up this committee is development. But if government refuses to understand that, you can understand and monitor and evaluate the consequences of programs or policy before you even setting out the policies. They will not have problems. But if government is more focused on telling Nigerians on how policy will impact them without doing proper assessment, monitoring and evaluation, even before the policies are started, they will only have programs. That's where we are today. So setting up this committee is just a reactionary attempt for me. I feel it is not too late, but I feel that it could have been done prior to this time. If that's been done, you would have avoided the issue of ranching, you would have avoided the issue of what they call F-men kidnapping or production distortion or GH3 or all those things. If government does not plan properly or they do not have data to plan on, this is exactly what happened. So what they are doing right now is just to ensure that yes, they have the right people, mind the right places, and they ensure that policies that are coming out from the Ministry of Agriculture through the federal government or through the Tinubu administration are, consolidated with the people that are on the farm. What would this their attorneys, the guy and others do? They will just facilitate the process, engage stakeholders both for public sectors and private sectors, and drive them to ensure that productivity increases. But we can do that before even spending so much money on bringing out food. Do you know how much food we have brought out recently? First one, it was 58,500 metric tons of rice. Later, it was 30,000 metric tons of rice. For food and commodities, that's the items and condiments. Okay, I mean 42,000 essential assorted foods were provided by federal government. Where are all these things? Okay, I mean if this committee has been put in place before the release of all these things from our food reserve,
they will have been properly distributed.
Exactly, that's the point. But you let out the food and you now create committee. You see that you are putting the cart before you have put the horse before the cart. Doing the wrong thing and expecting a different transfer, it will not happen. It will not happen. That's the problem. But they will not look at the right people that have the sense of knowledge. They have been trained in this area to employ, to give the right jobs, to do the right. But they do the wrong thing and now run back to us to give it. I just come out of meeting before this program. I told you what we are doing. So after this plan is going on, they not say give us research, give us analysis, what do we need to do, what do we need to do. But we are here already. We are here already.
Like they always
open all the borders if you can. Open all the borders, bring food back to Nigeria. Nigeria is a country that cannot provide sufficient food for its people. It's a failed country. It's a failed state. So one way or the other, food has to be available. It has to be affordable. What I mean is a fundamental human right
for the people to be able to feed.
What I mean, let me shock you. Let me put this on record. Very soon, if you are not careful, in this country, we will look for water to drink. How about that? It's on this program that you have said it.
That doesn't sound good.
We'll keep informing the people of the right things. Tell government where they have done right and where they have done wrong. Providing potable water for people to drink very soon will be a problem in this country. You can write this down for any. If careful actions are not taken. And I'm saying this so government can look at this again as a looming problem. They don't have to be reactionary. You can be proactive. This has been said. What can we do before we get there? Do we have to start releasing money, releasing water from the center for people to drink? And when are we going to decentralize this country? When are we going to return the power back to the regional government? Okay, when? I learned that this bill has been passed. Of course, this is not verified, but we don't even know where the bill is right now. Whether it is regionalization, whether it is restructuring, whether it is fiscal federalism, we need a form of decentralization in this country. This power that settles in the middle is so much that the state and the regions need to be empowered. And it's not about only police, what they call it, state policing, that this state government and governors are running after every time for their own self-use and self-aggrandizement. It's not only about that. We have to, first, what we have to do is to ensure that fiscal power is returned back to the regions or the state. Let the state drive the economy of that state. Let them return money back to the region. If we can do this, states like Zamfara will understand that if they don't produce more in terms of food production,
they won't get anything.
They will lack. States like Jigawa knows that you don't have to wait for paddy from federal government. If you can take from Uganda, take paddy, go seedlings, pay for it. This is the way to go. Until we start looking at these areas, we will have problems.
Thank you very much. Mr. ዄ is an investment banker and is also a public policy analyst and an economist. He joins us on the show today on Mainland 98.3 FM's station room to look into the decision of the government to, grant waiver on import duties to some commodities, and also the decision of the government where the president announced today the creation of the Ministry of Livestock Development and also the Presidential Committee on Livestock Reforms that will be chaired by Mr. President, and the vice chairman is the former chairman of INEC, Professor Atari Ujega. Mr. ዄ, before I let you go, the government is also talking about partnership with state governments on farming. You made mention of states that until they look inward and increase their own sustainability potentials, they would not survive everything that comes from Abuja. But there are issues of security at state level. Almost on a weekly basis, you open your newspapers, you log on to your news outlets, you see reports of killing of farmers in Benue, flooding in Nasarawa, kidnappings of farmers in Borno. You get to hear all of these issues. Are the governors even doing enough in terms of taking accountability of the people within their space? Oftentimes we're always very particular about what happens at the national level. Oh, the president is doing this, the president is not doing this. We often overlook what happens at the state level, which is the subnational. This partnership with the federal government and the state governors in terms of farming, who do you think would benefit the most? And secondly, how do you think governors that don't have the luxury of land, how can they benefit from this partnership?
Great question. I mean, let me quickly take it from the last one. So there's something we call policy exchange. I don't know if you remember what happened between Niger State government, is it Niger State right now, and Lagos State government.
Yes, the rice partnership.
Thank you very much. That was the one that happened between both of them. Both of them gained. One provides citizen, provide the funding, and it gives it to the other state. That's the Lagos State gives to the Niger State government. What happened was, at production level, the state contributed to production and monitoring and securitizing the whole place. When it was time for harvest, Lagos State government went there themselves, get this thing together. There's a sharing formula that happened. Both of them gained. That's what we call state-to-state policy exchange. It has been there's a policy for that already. So that is not supposed to even be a problem for a serious country. What we need to understand, and as I've always emphasized, is that if people are killing themselves in Borno, Taraba, or Adamawa, just like you mentioned, right? By the time they understand that production determines efficiency, profitability, and revenue, governments and governors will do more to ensure that they are securing not just the farms, but the farmers and the family and property of farmers. This is what government needs to do. Until government ensure and gives full access to the state governors to be able to securitize farmer in terms of even economic, by issue of issuance of loans, grants, provide provision of seedlings, good seedlings, or farm implements and other things. Federal government cannot do it alone. It has now been proven that the federal system that we operate has failed. There's the need for us now to jump back to regional government. And the best way to do that is to ensure to return the economic power first. First, return economic power. That's the fiscal responsibilities back to the state. Ensure that they are guarded in terms of their fiscal powers. Let them be able to make policy that will maximize potentials in the state, that will improve production in the state. They will now return whatever quota that has been agreed back to the center. Federal government now do distribution of production or productivity and wealth. That is the only way to go now. Whether it's for agriculture, it's for bringing down inflation rate, it's for all-round development, growth. That's what has to be done. It has been proven over and over that federal government has failed. What has to be done has to be done. Return power back to the region and let us even try. We are trying the free economic system now. We know how it's working for us. Let us try something different. If you don't try something different, you cannot get the different answer. What you will get is the same answer that you are getting.
Thank you very much, Mr. ዄ. And finally, before I let you go, I'm sure that this one I caught you today. Let me just get as much as I can get from my people before I let you go. The issue of the creation of the Ministry of Livestock Development. Talk to us about the economic advantages of these, ministry. I know for a fact, the last time I checked that.
The truth is that we cannot yet understand the reason for the creation of that committee. As far as I'm concerned, the Ministry of Agriculture is already saddled with this responsibility. Trying to create more responsibility for people and creating ministry or agencies for people is a way to enrich them and further impoverish Nigeria. I don't think it is necessary, and if at all it is necessary, I feel it should be timed. If at all, with big emphasis on if at all it should be created, it should be based on, key performance delivery, what you expect them to deliver on, and it has to be timed. Do this for us in 12 months, and you dissolve this committee. But trying to form an agency that have come to say right now, it looks like we are spending the money we don't yet have, and we still expect something something different to happen. Like I said, the publishing emergency committee, which is necessary for the meantime, asking them to stay forever is counterproductive. I don't think we can finance it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Olayinka Oscar. Like I said, he's an investment banker, PP. That's public-private partnership. That's intentional about protecting the lives and properties and the families of the farmers, so that the farmers can go to the market, make their plans, monitor their growth, do whatever they can in terms of our needs to institutionalize means.
Thank you very much for our audience for always keeping in touch.
Have a very beautiful. I just had a conversation with an investment banker. How much the government need intention during off season, so that it to buy a bag of rice for 70,000 being cost in this board to level. So whatever happens, we need to put it off. Well, it's not easy when you get into that place. It's a big respect. You picked up nomination form. You went through all of the 36 states and the FCT. You visited everyone. You had agents in all of the 774 local governments. You knew what you were coming into when you were campaigning as a governor. You knew ministry. We had a driver though take us to our promised land. Then everyone around Mr. President need to key into that policy. It's as simple as that. Beyond what we read on the pages of newspaper, I think I can pick a call before I go on my first break. Hello, Mickey Weze. I got a bit late. 09136000410. It's Mainland FM. It's the station room, and we get to do this every day of the week, Monday to Friday. Hello, good evening.
Hello,
Mr. Laiwola, you have just about 45 seconds for this.
So, in this issue at this moment, is a welcome development. I think we will go back to the Jonathan, this government come back to that moving from moving the animals can have the benefit of all the politics on ground.
Thank you very much, Mr. Laiwola.
I think the 180 days is around January. Before that.
Thank you, Mr. Lai. Well, apologies, I had to just cut you off. When we come back after the headline news and the break, it's the situation room, and we've had, Mr. Olayinka Oscar join me on the show to look at the
FM.
Good evening. Headline news on mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. Suspend state on farming. Reps to carry out forensic investigation over fuel scarcity. On the foreign scene, Liberian president slashes SAT. And in sports, Finidi begins. That's the headline news on mainland.
The sound of Lagos.
Message about cholera.
Cholera is a serious disease.
Wash your hands with soap and clean water.
Clean and dispose of waste properly.
If you or anyone you know shows symptoms like severe diarrhea or vomiting, seek medical help immediately.
So together, we can beat cholera and keep our community healthy.
This message is brought to you by Mainland 8.3 FM, Lagos. Stay safe, stay healthy. Spot that smartphone you've been eyeing? That one that seems just out of reach because of its hefty price tag? Hold up, MTN is got your back, bringing you an effortless way to snag your dream phone without emptying your pocket with Easy Buy. Choose any phone you fancy and conveniently spread the payment over 3 to 12 months. Keep your budget intact and your smartphone dreams. But wait, there's more. Not only do you get to enjoy budget-friendly payment option, but you also enjoy up to 10 gig free MTN data. Now, that's a steal. Don't watch your dream phone slip away. What are you waiting for? Visit the nearest mobile phone retail outlet. Look for the Easy Buy agent. Terms and conditions apply. MTN. What are you doing today?
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
Fixing your damaged phone just feels like a lot of wahala and can be very expensive, right? But not anymore. MTN is here with a solution to help you protect your phones. Accident happens. So imagine this. Your phone falls into water. No wahala. Your screen cracks. No wahala. Your phone gets burned. No wahala. Why? Because accidental damages are also covered. Even if you're lazy like me and cannot cope with the stress of getting your phone fixed, your damaged phone will be picked up, fixed and dropped off, all while you chill at home. And the best part is, you also enjoy free MTN data when you purchase any device protection plan. Seriously, who doesn't love free data? You also enjoy free MTN data when you purchase any device protection plan. MTN, outdo yourself.
Come add correct vegetables inside.
I want more.
You stammer all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them.
Spot that smart fact, bringing you an effortless way to snag your dream phone with it intact and your smartphone dreams. But wait, there's more. Not only do you get to enjoy budget-friendly payment option, but you also enjoy up to 10 gig free MTN data. Look for the Easy Buy agent. Terms and conditions apply.
Don't touch the dial.
Things seems, I'm sure, it's
development new to build the narrative about public service and
there is nowhere I can say it except here.
is the chance to make their political decision having a Nigeria professionals and politics on your super diet.
And you feel of the government instead command look for maybe my guess think the farmers can go to farm and have access to their farm produce, especially when it's time to harvest, and they don't have to pay tax to bandits. It looks like it's a policy that will need to be that will need to be taken very seriously. But let me have your thoughts about that. 0913-600-0410. I'm seeing your messages on Facebook. Christopher F. Young, Basil Chika. I'll come back to some of your messages, but let me also pick your calls first. Hello, Mickey Wezi. Thank you for calling back.
Thank you so much. Your guest has spoken so well. He gave us a very meticulous analysis of the whole situation. Now, he summarized the basic problem of this administration, which is lack of analysis of every policy they want to go into. They don't analyze the policies, look at the merits and the demerits before they go into such policy. That's one of the basic problems of this administration. Then he also talked about we practice federalism, and then in essence what actually we are practicing, or we have federalism as our system of government, but actually what we practice is unitary system of government. This is basic. That is one of the basic problems we have in this country. So talking about meticulous analysis and the evaluation of policy that this government has not really taken to cognizance is the reason why the country today is suffering all these hardship. See, if they have analyzed very well, they will not float naira at the same time and remove subsidy at the same time, because these are two dangerous things going hand in hand. And that is why I tell you that there is nothing anybody will tell me that I will believe that there is food scarcity. What we have is inflation. What we have obviously is the result of removal of subsidy and floating naira at the same time. That is the inflation that is hammering everything. It's not about scarcity of food. It's not about scarcity of food. Then, okay, when you look at it, okay, as we speak now, petroleum is going for about 900 to 1,000. Because I hear people talking of price, the government should think about how to fix prices. They should start from petroleum. How can the petroleum energy sector that drives the whole economy keep fluctuating and on a very high side? The policy that they are rolling out right now is a good policy. But let me tell you two things that will also bedevil it. I'm not playing the devil's advocate here. Is that number one, they have removed official tax. You understand?
Thank you,
what about the unofficial one? Because you know what happens in the customs service. So that one is there.
Thank you very much. That was what I was saying when I said this policy should not be frustrated by the authorities themselves. If the government is saying put on some waiver, do some suspension of tax and import duties on these commodities, there should be flow of these commodities into the markets. Not that because there's a waiver then you just keep them somewhere, and because the people feel like because they're not paying, you're not going to attend to these things on time. One of the things that really hurts me the most is when I see where the custom is destroying food items. They say these things are contraband, they were smuggled into the country illegally. Once they've been smuggled into the country, rather than for us to allow them rot in the warehouses or get damaged and then will burn frozen foods in their cartons, there are IDP camps where people are starving. Since these people, we've arrested these things as contraband, why should we wait for them to get damaged and then we destroy them? If these things are fake, it's a different ballgame. If they were smuggled into the country and the smugglers were caught, take this food to IDP camp, let people eat this food for free. Well, what do I know? I'm just thinking. Let me take your thoughts. Hello, good evening. You're welcome.
Hello.
Good to have you on the show. You're live with us.
Okay, John from Oga.
Mr. John.
Okay, there is nothing anybody will tell me that will assuage my mind as the guy that the government does not know what they are doing. They know exactly what they are doing. What is the secret behind our refinery is not functioning?
Not functioning.
Can somebody tell me? Let them come up with that again. Let them tell us why our refineries are not functioning. Why are they giving us palliatives instead of challenging that money towards the functioning of the refinery? What? There's nothing. Though the analysis there is okay, with everything I said, it's 100% right. But I want to put it to you and the man that, see, they knows about all this. They know everything. You do this on party patronage. You are corrupt. You are spending frivolously. You are coming up with every white everywhere project here and there, and you have this inflation rate of about 42%. And like the other caller said, the food, there's no scarcity of food. The high inflation rate that we have, they are not coming. Let them tell me again why insecurity is not a civil street. Why kidnapping is civil street? Why don't they have the willpower to stop kidnapping and insecurity? And I said that, like the other time when Gumi spoke in your studio there to Fuad, I said that if we are bedeviled by external aggression, like we have it on our hands now, are we going to be disciplined? What is somebody telling me now?
Thank you very much, Mr. John.
Good evening.
Thank you. Let's talk to other people. Do we really have external aggressors? I don't think so. We have internal aggressors. Oh, Mr. Joshua, I got a bit late. Try and call us back. Yeah. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good evening.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I'm with you. Very clear.
You see, this particular policy of the government, I'm not buying into. See, I sincerely don't know the rationale behind all these lavish spending. Of course, the people in the north, they will rejoice because of this kind of policy. But here in the south, see, we are not like that. We are not beggars, giving palliative. See, this particular border they want to open now, some people will celebrate it, of course, if the thing is working for you, you will rejoice. You understand me? But I'm telling you, we are only providing employment for other countries. Because one, their farmers will be doing a lot of work just to make sure they get this product and export it to our country and we will buy. Why not tackle insecurity and encourage our farmers to
go to
farm
the farms
so that we have enough food to eat? Why are we doing all this to ourselves? You understand? See, this thing is going nowhere. We are not going anywhere. This is not a solution.
Okay.
This is not a solution.
Thank you thank you very much, Mr. Gege Joshua. On Facebook, Basil Chika is talking to us. Let me talk to Prince YS. It makes sense. Hello, Prince YS. In June, that was last month, I saw you made a post on your Facebook page, and I saw you with lots of tomatoes. I want to believe those tomatoes were harvested from your farm, right?
You are very correct now. I know when I told them, some people don't believe me.
I saw the quantity quite much. You had them in a whole lot of buckets, but the government had just decided to bring in some waiver, that's to remove export duties and tax on some commodities. You as a farmer, how much do you think this would benefit Nigerians in terms of making our own food or trying to meet up with our consumption demand? Prince White, can you change your location a bit, please?
Let me leave this place. You see, can you hear me now?
I'm with you now. Go on.
When you talk of farmer, somebody like me can't just say I'm a real farmer. No, I'm just a petty farmer who goes just a chicken. So you see, this latest for the federal government. For me, I'm in love of it. Now, you believe the little that happened that delay period, they take it down to Ilorin to go and say, they just give me a little money. And I'm satisfied with it. Because I give some of majority of them to my friends, to my family. I said the remaining, sell it and share the money. That is my life. I brought some of them to Lagos.
But the president, when we heard those announcements now, I appreciate because we have food in this country, but it's not enough. That's why it's so expensive. I just pity a lot of our farmers. Do you believe when you affect all these things, they sell it at a very small amount, but when you get to the city, they buy very expensive, and that's what we are facing now. Now, the federal government as it is now, if they brought this thing down to Nigeria, just 5 months. Now, between that 5 months, they should try to assist the farmer by giving them fertilizer. If those who are ready to go to real farming, 0% loan for them. If this thing happens, and the federal government, the state government, the local government, they must come together and build a lot of storage. Because all these imperishable things, where they grow it, they come at the same time, you have to buy it over from them. So it's for the rainy day. I think it will help. And the federal government, they said they must set up mechanized farming. People are running the streets. They have no work to do. But you have a farm in every local, in every state, even federal, they say, I'm telling you, cassava alone can give us $1.
Thank you, Prince Wise.
So that's a lot to do. And finally, before I want to round up by saying that period, we must grow our own. Because if we are bringing now, somebody patent it doesn't drop from heaven. So mechanized farming is the key, Mr.
Thank you.
That friend, relation, good Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Prince Wise. 0913-600-0410. I saw Mr. Prince Wise's post on Facebook, I think May or June, or I think either May or June. And I saw him with so much, large quantity of tomatoes. And I've been meaning to ask him. So the opportunity came up today. Mr. Austin, good evening.
Good evening.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I still maintain my stand. If I have nothing to do with education, if I have no idea, though I teach, that is my field, that is my core area, so I can be able to defend it if you call me anywhere to come and defend myself. The same thing, if you don't have any idea on something, there's no way you can achieve it. See, both our local government, our state government, our local government, in the ministry, everybody, we don't know what to do. If we know what to do, we will not be saying this thing every day, every year, every time we call on radio and lament, because the government doesn't know what to do. And the government is just there just to take power. If you don't know what to do, like I used to tell people, if it's my president, if it's my governor, if it's my local government chairman, if it's my councillor, if it's my senator, I'll say that they resign. You don't know what to do.
You don't know what you're doing.
That's it. Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thank you very much. That's what I said. I think somebody sent a message on Facebook now responding to what I said about leadership not being easy. Let me read your messages on Facebook. Larry Olakomi is talking to us on Facebook. Please, okay, let me talk to Pastor Ambrose. He's been on the line since. Hello, Pastor Ambrose.
Okay, good evening.
You're welcome.
I thank God for your guest. Let me start by saying I'm one of those who like beans. I love beans. Then secondly also, we say Benue is the food basket of the nation. Maybe because a lot of them are into farming. Or if you go to Cross River, if you see their banana, their land is as fertile as anything. We have so many states in this country that are fertile. You know, Akwa Ibom has boundary with Benue. If you go to Edo, you go to Delta, in some places there, they don't even do heaps. And the products come out big. You know, I've been shouting all this while. Rice. I don't know why somebody has to go to advance to produce rice. When the must have to produce one. All over. You see this green, all this waiver that they said. I think see rice, so they say it's brown rice. And I learned brown rice is of father rice. Why is rice not included? Because these people on the border, customs, that's where their power is. You will settle them, cross the border. They will go to Songo. They will
still gonna wait for
if
you.
You go to, if you go to Songo again to buy, they will still you on the road and collect it.
Hello? Ooh, Pastor Ambrose, if you're lucky, I can still pick your call if you call back. Lariola Komi saying waivers and duties tariff-free on some food items is a welcome development. It is the short-term measure of addressing the food insecurity. The long-term measure should be how to ensure commercial and large-scale farming. Also, issue of banditry and activities. Okay, banditry and activities of some undesirable elements in our farms. They should be nipped in the bud. Okay. It's unfortunate that the country's economy is in a big mess and a bigger crisis with all of these trial and error policies of this present administration. While we were still complaining of the reckless spending of this administration, the president went ahead to duplicate office by creating another ministry called livestock. Is that not meant to be under the Minister of Agriculture? What is the rationale behind all these and bad policies that are taking this country nowhere? As I speak, 4 per liter in Surulere is 720 naira. Olo Agbawa. Thank you very much. Basil Chika says, I heard you said it's not easy, but I disagree with you. It is very simple to return this country to its past glory if the APC government can reverse the subsidy is gone policy, floating of naira, import duties, hike electricity tariff, and open the border. Fight insecurity and address others farmers killing. But the problem of the Tinubu left government is political willpower and so much propaganda. Thank you, Chika Bende from Trade Fair. Do you know if the presidents have been listening to Road TV and every other social media, or they just decided to pay no attention to the crying of the masses, the famine which led to starvation? Nothing is working. Okay, I wish I had all of the time to take all of your messages, but I can't. Tomorrow, God willing, 1 to 3 p.m. it's midweek politics. I would be joined here in the studio by Side Forward, which certainly would always do this together. And of course, last week we had a new member added to the team, and we're going to continue that conversation tomorrow. Don't miss it for anything in this world. 1 to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM, and of course by 4 o'clock you join Sage Babalola as she takes over situation room duties tomorrow. My name is Okweyemi Akinde. Don't forget, for whatever it is that you do, the progress of this country doesn't just rest solely on our leaders. Even with the followers, we have roles to play. Join Side Forward and I and Victor tomorrow by 1 to 3 p.m. Keep your dial locked on Milan 98.3 FM and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Gender equality is a human rights issue. It is about ensuring that everyone, regardless of their gender, has the same opportunities, rights, and protections. Challenging stereotypes, breaking down barriers, and creating a more inclusive society where everyone is treated with respect and dignity is a collective responsibility. Gender disparities start out small, in homes and communities, and these harmful gender norms progress and are perpetuated at the highest levels. In some countries, they become entrenched in laws and policies that violate the rights of individuals because of their gender. Discriminatory teaching practices and education materials also produce gender gaps in learning and skills development. Let us stand up for gender equality.
There is something missing in the world today. It's the one thing that can make the world okay. And it doesn't cost nothing, no, you don't even have to pay. It's about doing the right thing every day. 'Cause you are the light, you are the sun.